we're going to use the same data set that you used yesterday. We're going to download our data set. We're going to go through, we're going to import a plugin and then go through what you guys did yesterday. So let's start here. So we're going to go to our layer. We're going to add, and we are going to add the eliminated text layer. Click on that. You should, wait a minute here. You should get a window like this. And these windows, there are these three dots here. If you click on these three dots, should take you to a browser where you're going to go and pick up your data set. And the data set you used yesterday is it's called country yield data and underscore CSV. We're going to click on that. And then some of you would get something like this, okay? If you get a window like this, you have to expand geometry definition. You click on it, it will expand. Click layer, it will expand. And then you have to make sure that your longitude in X field, your latitude and Y field, and geometry is this one here, okay? And then after that, you should be able to see add, because if you don't have your longitude and latitude, you'll not be able to see add here. And then after that, you can just click on add and you should be able to get this data set in the QGIS. And then we close. Okay. So this is what we get. So on the left side, under layers, we have our data that we imported. And then on the map windows, we have these dots here. So next thing that we're going to do, we're going to bring in the base map. Okay, to do that, we need a plugin that you installed yesterday. And to get that plugin, we're going to go to web. We're going to go Quick Map Services, because this is the name of the plugin. And then that plugin is, our plugin is called OSM Standard. When you click on that, you should be able to get the maps now, the base map. So don't worry if you get different colors, okay? So I'm going to, you type yes if you have come up to this level yet. I'm going to stop and wait up to here. I'll give you another 1 minute, then we proceed, okay? Okay, so what do we have here? So we have, on our left, we have layers. So each time you bring your data, it becomes a layer. So we brought in our country yield underscore yield underscore data became our layer. And also when you get in your plugin, it becomes a layer. So we have two layers here. And these two layers are working because they are checked, both of them. So if you uncheck them, that means they're not active. So you cannot see anything. So if I check my data layer, I can only see the dots. If I check only my my plugin, I can only see the maps. So make sure that when you're working with the layers, all should be checked, because sometimes we work with very, very many layers. Okay. So now we have 2 layers. We've brought in our data. In our data, these data points are the countries. We have got to our plugin, and now we have this map. So what do we do? So yesterday, the first thing that we did was we went to properties and we see what we have. So we're going to right click on our layer. We're going to go to properties and we work with symbology here. So under this symbology, if you look here, you have single symbols. This single symbol will give you everything that from your variables, categorize, and then we all work with graduated. We always work with like population and so forth. So yesterday we started with the single first. So what we did do that. So with the single, you can change color of your markers. You can select your markers. You can increase the size of your markers and so forth. So let's start with that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to change the color. So how do you do that? This kind of like a square, a circle with a rectangle. If you pick any area, it changes, then you can play with that. So each time I click on the color, you can see my markers color are changing, okay? My markers color are changing. That's how you can change the colors of your markers, okay? You can also increase the size of the markers. So if you can see the size is increasing here, okay? And so forth. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go with the green. If I click on this, you can see now on my map, we've changed the colors of the markers, okay? Are you with me? Okay, so why don't we take some times and do that? Why don't we go in our map, right click on your layer, go to properties, go to symbology, and play with these markers. You can different colors, different size. I'm going to give you at least 2 to 3 minutes to do that. Okay, let's do that. So we're going to play with the color and the size. And then after that, we can also change the shape of the markers, and the shape of the markers are down here. So when you're done with changing the size and the color, we'd like you to come here and pick one of this shape. So if you have selected your favorite color and your favorite size, you can now come and pick one of these to be your favorite symbol. And then after that, we'll continue, okay? I'll give you 2 minutes from now. Okay, so that was about the marker. Another thing that we did yesterday was playing with graduated, okay? So we're going to go to graduated. I'm going to pick a value here. So this is graduated. I'm going to pick a value here. And let's go with the kilogram per hectare. Okay, so I'm going to pick my color. I like this one here. And then I'm going to classify. See that? So you can see these colors here. So if these are the ranges. So if the yield is between 5 to 1,700 kilogram per hectare, you have this. So we have different type of colors here. Okay. So you can also go to histogram. And when you load this histogram here, load the values, you can see the histogram. Okay. So can you see the histogram of the yield? And then here, you can also see the mean. So this one is the mean. You can also see the standard deviation. This is the standard deviation of this. So this is the means around here, and this is the standard deviation. Yesterday, somebody asked if we can export this this histogram. We cannot, but we are going to today. We're going to cover how to plot a graph that you can export your graph. But this one you can screenshot this, and when you are using Mac, you can, I think you do shift for command, and for Windows, I think so. If you can just screenshot, that's the only way you can export this. Okay. So, are you guys with me? Okay. So we can apply this. So now when we go back to our map, let's get the symbol is out here. When we go back to our map, you can see that the maps now are represented by these different colors from the yield. Okay. Another thing that we can do, we can label our maps. So we're going to go do that, and I will give you some few minutes to exercise. Here I demonstrated the yield. When I go back and I labeled this, I will let you also practice using another variable. So what I'm going to go back here, properties. I'm going to set this, the labels. So I'm going to single labels. What I need is I'm going to select one, and I'm going to, so the value is country, okay? So I'm going to apply, might take some time, and I click OK. So if you see this blue here running, that means it's still doing something. So if you see that blue running, when it's done, then the maps will appear, the names of them will appear here, okay? So I would like you to do exactly what I did, but instead of doing yield, I would like you to do average temperature. So go to your, okay, so now we have the names of the countries. The name of the countries have appeared. You see this? That was labeling. So this is what I would like you to do. I'm going to give you 2 minutes. I would like you to do exactly what I did, but you should do average temperature. So you go to your right click, your layer, properties, and then you go to symbology. And this value, instead of kilogram per hectare yield, you're going to select average temperature. You're going to go to graduated. You're going to classify, and then you're going to go to histogram. You're going to add value, and then you're So I'm going to give you at least 2 minutes to do that. Okay, so let's do that. And then you can also, I would like you to screenshot your histogram and save it somewhere for the average temperature. So you're going to get your average temperature, you're going to classify, and then you're going to go histogram, you're going to load values, you're going to find a mean, you're going to find a standard deviation, and after that, you're going to screenshot that. Okay. Are we doing okay?
Steven,
Yes.
maybe you can repeat the labels for
Okay.
those who are not able to see the labels.
Okay. So I'm going to go back to the levels, okay? Okay, so let me start from the beginning, okay? Okay. So we're going to go to our layer, going to right click, properties, and labels. See that? And our value is country. That's what we would like to label with. Our value is what? Is country. Country should be here, and then you apply here and click OK. And then when it's running now, you see this blue line, this blue kind of like it's telling you that it's still working. It might take some time. Then eventually, when that blue line disappears, you'll see the labels on the plot. So go to right-click your layer, go to Properties, click on the label, and select the country, and then you apply, and then run. So I'm not going. So it's done. Now you can see the countries on the map. Look again. Right-click, Properties, label, the various country, apply, OK, and you see this blue indicator showing you that it's still running. When that stops, then all the names of the countries will appear on the map. Okay, another thing that we covered yesterday was how do you export your projects? So, okay, it's done. But before that, you covered how do you see the table that you have imported. Okay. So how do you see the table? Again, you right click, you go to Open Table Attribute. So if you open and it gives you this, you go to the lower right, and you click on switch to table view. You see my cursor? Because sometimes it depends what you've been doing. We're going to cover this later, but in case you open your table and you get this view here, you switch to table view. If you click on that, it'll give the information. So this is the comma sensitive value file that we imported. You can see it tells you the numbers, the country, latitude, longitude, crop, year, per hectare, and so forth. So this is how you view your data after importing it. Okay, so let me repeat again. You go to your layer. So so if you want also not to see what you, like for example, we got this classification, so we don't want to be seeing them all along. You just click on this, they will disappear. Okay. So you right click, you get to Open Attribute Table, and you should see your table. Okay. Okay. Yesterday, I think we also covered that with this classification, you can see from which countries are producing higher yield and which countries are producing lower yield. Between 5 to 1,700 kilogram. If you unclick everybody, you can see these are the countries, and mainly in Africa, Middle East, and India. So these are the countries lower. Many are developing countries here. You can see this one. We still have some in Africa, but most of them are in Europe, and so a tool to help you to just to on an overview of what's going on to export data. So then I'm going to go back again, and so that we have our names, the label there. Okay, I'm going to run this again. So another thing that we did yesterday was to export data. We did that through project export. So we're exporting either like images or export like PDF. Those are the two that we did. Okay. We click on that. It gives you the dimension from west to east to north to south. And then you can just save that. So what I'm going to do, I would like you also to export your data. Okay, this is what we're going to do. So yesterday we were introduced with QGIS. And when I came, we went through a recap of what we did yesterday. So this is now going to be a test. We are all going to get out of QGIS, and this is what we're going to do. So assume you're a researcher, they give you data, and that data is the yield that we're going to do, what we used. We're all going to get out of, all of us, including me, let me get, the one we're going to start, we're going all to get out our QGIS. I'm going to save it. So you're working either in the research in your field, and you have special data. So they brought that to you, and you took this webinar. So you want to show your colleague that, okay, I think we can do something with this data, so let me go through. So what we are going to do in the next 10 minutes, we're going to open our QGIS. We're going to, I'm not going to do it, you guys are going to do it. We're going to open your QGIS. So the assumption is the data that we have been using is the data that your colleague brought to you. You're going to show them, one, you're going to show them how you're going to load that data. How you're going to bring the base map. And I would like you to do this, to change the original color, because all of you are going to get different colors. Change the original color, change the shape of the marker, and increase the size of the marker to 3.2. So I'm going to give you 10 minutes. Let's do that. After that, then we are going to go to something that we didn't do yesterday. So if we can do that, then I think we are okay. So get out of QGIS, start QGIS, bring the data that you have been using, get the base map, go to properties, pick any, you can pick temperature, you can pick yield, you can pick and classify that. Change the color, do the histogram, get the attribute table, export. 10 minutes. Then we start a new today. Okay. Meanwhile, I will also go to help peace with answering some few questions. But if you have questions, let us know. I'm going to give you 10 minutes.
Steven,
Yes.
you can check the comments in the chat. I think I would like you to repeat.
To repeat again? Okay. Let me start. Okay. So I'm starting my QGIS. It's a clean slate here. So I got a data, and we don't know anything about that data. So this is the clean slate. The data came in a comma-separated value. So how do I get this data? QGIS. So I need to use a layer to get that. Okay? So I'll go to layer, and under layer has different attributes, but what I need from layer is add layer. And when I click on add layer, there are very many file formats that QGIS uses. But I'm only interested in, because my file that I have is a comma-separated value. So to download comma-separated value, I use add delimited text layer. That's the only parameter here that will import a comma-separated value. Okay? So I started with layer, I got that data with a comma-separated value, and comma-separated value is not an Excel file. When you open it, it looks like Excel, but it's not, it's a spreadsheet. I go to add layer, and then I need add delimited text layer. When I click on that, I get this window. Okay, this is the window that I get. So this window, I have the 3 dots here. These 3 dots here. These 3 dots will take me to where I have saved my file. If I click on this, my file, I save it. This is my folder where that file is. And this is the file I'm going to use. I'm going to analyze. So I click on this. You can see now here, it has come. But some of you, when you bring this file in, this geometry definition and layer settings are minimized. But you have to maximize it. If you click on this, it will maximize. Why are we doing this? Because you need your longitude that you labeled to be in X field and latitude that will be in Y field. Sometimes people will give them different names, but make sure that your latitude, your longitude in X and latitude in Y, and then also the geometry CRS should be this one, okay? If you don't have your longitude and latitude here, the add will not come. So when everything is okay, you see here the file format is comma separated value. Okay. And then you tell the first recorded has the file, the field names. That's what it's looking for. Now, you click on add and you close. The file that you imported becomes a layer. And this layer is on the left. This is the name of the file. It becomes a layer. And it's checked. And these dots here are countries. These dots here are countries. They are appearing here because this is checked. If unchecked, they disappear. Because unless it is checked, QGIS will not use this layer. Because sometimes you have even 10 layers here, 10 different data that you downloaded. But this is the one that we are going to use, okay? Now, we have only these dots and we know that they are countries. But how are you going to make sure that this dot is in Uganda or Kenya? We have to bring in a base map to lay on this in geospatial language. To do that, we need a plugin which is equivalent library in R. And you installed that plugin yesterday. How do you get that plugin? To get that plugin, you need to go to your web, because the name of the plugin that you installed yesterday was called Quick Map Services. You go to Quick Map Service, you go to OSM, and you get that. So now that plugin has all the information about the map. Now we know Uganda is here, we know. So when you bring the data and you bring a plugin, all become your what? Your layers. So if I uncheck plugins, the map will disappear. If I uncheck the data we brought, the map will stay and the plugin will disappear. To use both, to use this, both must be what? Checked. Okay, now we've brought this, we got our data in, we got our map in, now we can start analyzing the data. The first thing we have to do, that we did yesterday, is we went and changed the size of the markers. So how do you do that? You right-click on your layer, data layer. You go to properties, you go to symbology. So what does symbology do? Symbology makes you change the color, you change the opacity, you change the size, you change other things. You change the marker type. So our marker type now is still is round, but if I click on this, it becomes a cross. If I click on this, it becomes open round and so forth. I'm going to work with triangle. And the color is black. And the size is 2.8. Okay? So if I click on OK here, you see now, when I downloaded this country yield, it was round and orange. When I went, I changed the shape and I changed the color. You can see here from here now. Okay? But this is too small. I would like to increase the size of this marker. How do I do that? I go to size. I told you guys to go to 3.2. I increase to 3.2. I click on OK. See, they're now bigger. So that's how you work with color and size. Okay. Another thing that we did, still in symbology. So if you're a single symbol, you have this in your notes, what each of them does. You do everything, but we wanted to graduate it, that is explained in the notes. So this basically deals with like population and so forth. So this, you can classify, you can make histogram, but to do that, to make it be unique, so that you can see it better, you have to have at least colors that at least has variation. You could do it, I mean, you can do any color, but me, I like this because it has ranges, okay? So now, I've selected my color, but I have not selected my value yet. I don't have anything to classify yet. So if I want to classify yield, I go to this value here, I select yield, okay? If I want to classify rainfall, I go to value, I select rainfall, okay? So what I did was I did yield. And the assignment I gave you, you're going to do average temperature. So I'm going to repeat yield, but you still go to that assignment. So I'm going to classify yield, but right now in value I have nothing, so I cannot do anything. So I'll go down here, I'll select kilogram yield. Now I can work with yield, okay? Now I come here and classify that, and you can see this. It's triangle and with different colors, okay? Now I can also go and do histogram. To classification, I was in classes and I classify from here. But on histogram, I have to go and click histogram. If I click on histogram, I don't see anything. To see the histogram, I have to load values. And then I have to click on this. But most of the time, when you click on your histogram, you can see the means and also you can see the standard deviation. But this map, you cannot export it. This is for overview. If you want to use this map, you have to screenshot. So I always use Mac, and to screenshot in Mac, you do Shift, Command 4. For Windows, you have a way of doing that, okay? So that is how we did that, okay? We also talked about labels, okay? So when you're doing labels, because whatever we have been doing, we're in symbology, but now we want to do the labeling, okay? We click on label. If I click on label, everything disappears. Why did it disappear? Because we don't have anything we want to label with. It has to be single label, and it bring for me country. So sometimes when you click on something and disappear, you have to go back to these parameters here. So I would like to label my map using countries, okay? So my value is country. After that, then I click apply, and I click OK. And then you see this blue kind of information that's running. That means it's now putting labels in this map. So when it stops, you'll see the maps are labeled, okay? So I'm going to give it some time so that it can stop. When it has stopped, you see the maps on the, you see the levels on all these maps. Okay, let's give it some time. It's still running. Just disturbing me a little. Okay, it's done. You can see this. Now we have our labels here. Okay. Another thing that we did was to see the data that we have. Okay. So how do you do that? Let's stop this here. You right click your layer again. Okay. You open attribute and you see the original data here with all the variables. Okay. Another thing that we did was to export. To export, what do you do? Go to project, export map as image, or you export as PDF. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to get out of this, and you guys are going to do that. You're going to do that with temperature. You're going to start your QGIS. You're going to get your data. After getting your data, you're going to bring the base map. To bring the base map, you're going to classify average temperature. You're going to draw the histogram. You're going to put the mean and the standard deviation, and then you're going to export. If you can do that, then we'll go to the next level. So 10 minutes. Okay, somebody asked me to repeat the instruction. The instruction is get out of your QGIS. I assume that you have a data that you want to show to your colleague. Open QGIS, get that data. After getting that data, so assume that data has an average temperature. You're going to load that data. After loading that data, you're going to get a base map plugin. After that, you're going to go and increase the size of your marker and change the size of your marker to any of your the ones you want. Give it a different color. After that, go and classify average temperature. Get the histogram, get the mean and the standard deviation. Take a screenshot. After that, get the data, show your friends or your colleague how you can see the data that you have downloaded, and then export it. Yeah. So we have 4 minutes. Then we'll start something new. So the graduation process is to help you categorize data. So you're going to, I'm answering a question from the Q&A. You're going to do that with your average temperature. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start. So this is basically, I already explained that when we got our histogram, we could not have a way of exporting it. So here, it's the two ways in Windows and Mac. So in Windows, you can go through the same, you can get the layer, do the graduation, classify field, you get your histogram. Then for Windows, you press Win, Shift S, and then for Mac, it's press Command Shift 4. So that's how you can export that, okay? So this is basically what we've been doing. Okay, we need to install a plugin for graphic, okay? So we're going to install a plugin called Dataplotly. We are going to install that. So we're going to open our QGIS. We'll do that together. We're going to look for Dataplotly and we're going to install that plugin because we're going to use this for our mapping. So I want us to do this now so that when we reach the mapping section, we'll be having this. So going to go. Please, you just see my screen. I'm going to be switching between QGIS and PowerPoint. So you see my QGIS?
Yes.
Okay. So we're going to install, go to plugins, install, and then you're going to look for data plotly. And then you're going to, me already installed. But when you see that, it's exactly like you installed it yesterday. You just click on install. Let me first uninstall this here so that uninstall this. Okay, it's perfect. So let's start again. Okay. So we're going to go to plugin, manage, install plugin. We're going to type data plotly, which is already here. Click on that. You see this, you see where my cursor is? You just click install. It won't take long. So now I have it now. So type yes if you've installed it. Again, go to plugin, manage plugins, type data plotly, and it will appear, and then you install. Okay, good. Let's give the rest at least 2 minutes. Then I'll go back to PowerPoint. Okay, so yesterday, please introduce attribute table, but attribute table has more than just for checking what type of data you have. So I'm going to go through slowly here. I will be switching between the PowerPoint and the QGIS. So when you go to attribute table, you have to dock that table before you do anything else. So docking means you have to, because when you open attribute table, it always goes on top of the windows of QGIS. So when you dock it, and then you can now do other activities. So how do you do that? There's a table, there's a button at the right hand corner, which I'm going to show you in the next slide. So when it comes, when you click on that button, it will come down, and then you have to play with it a little bit, and then it just is settled there. And then from there now you can use it. So We go back here. So let's start from here. So yesterday we used attribute table, but we used attribute table for just observing the data that we imported in our QGIS. But attribute table has more than that. That we are going from now on, this is going to be a new material. So when you go to attribute table and you click on attribute table, it always goes up on the QGIS. But in order to do other things with the attribute table, it has to be docked. Docking just means the way I think the software was written is just to bring it down. So how do you do that? You click a button called a docking button. If you click on that button, it will the table will move from up to down, but it will not settle. So you have to play with it a little bit so that it is settled. After doing that, then you can start doing other things with the table. Okay. So we already seen that. How do you get to attribute table? You go to your layer, and then you open your attribute table. This one we have done that. If you click on that, you get this. So this attribute table always go up. So when I was explaining, even when Peace explained yesterday, we're explaining that, okay, this is the data that you imported. You have all these variables, but in order now to use this further, you have to dock it. So how do you dock it? Basically, how do you move it down? You use this button here. And when you move your cursor around this button, this was appear, dock attribute table. So if you click on that, it will go down. Okay. So when it goes down, this is supposed to be like this, but you have to play with it a little bit, then it settle down. Okay. So when it's settled down, that's when you can do other things with that. So I'm going to shift and go back to QGIS. And I want you guys to do that with me together so we can dock attribute table. Okay? So go to your QGIS, follow me what I'm going to do. QGIS. Okay. So every time I'm doing an exercise, I'm going to bring a layer so that people who are behind can now catch up. So we're going to bring a layer in. We're going to get our web base map, and we're going to dock our attribute table. How do we do it? Layer. I'm going to add that. Go here, get my data, make sure my longitude is X, my latitude is Y. Make sure this is my geometry CRS. I'm going to add, I'm going to close, but I need to bring my base map, web. Okay. So docking is something new, what we didn't do yesterday. So how do I dock? I right click, open attribute, straight away it goes up. This is what Peace explained to you yesterday, and this is what I explained to you today. But we need to bring this table down. We need to dock it. How do we dock it? You see this cursor here? I just moved my cursor there. It told me dock attribute table. As soon as I click on it, it goes down. But it's not yet stable. So if I click a little bit, you see when you see that kind of like a slight white thing, that means you're docked. It's docked. So let's try to do that and see if we have succeeded. You don't have to go get data, but that's what I'll be doing. But I think you should also go get data. Let's be consistent here. Go get your data, and we're going to do the docking. get your data, go to the web, get base map, go to right click on your layer, go to table attribute, the table will go up, and then you click on the dock, it will come down, and then you play a little bit with it. You something with a white, it kind of like a white thing will appear, and that's docked. So I'm going to give you 2 minutes, and then after that, we proceed from there. So that's docking. Okay. After docking, then we can filter. So because sometimes you want only to visualize a certain portion of your data, okay? So after docking, we go to filter, okay? So how do you filter? So at the top of the attribute table, there's a small funnel icon that I'll show you. So when you click on that icon, it will give you all these options that now you can use for filtering your data from your layer. Okay. So you have to dock it first. After docking, then you can use that tool for filtering. Okay. So this is the tool I'm talking about. See this funnel here? So we're going to spend some time working with this tool here. And this is a very important tool for subsetting your data. Okay. So right now you can see from here, we have almost like 28,000 rows. Okay. So how do you use this tool? So if you click on it, you get these windows here. And that windows are your variables that you have from your data sets. You have the number, the country, and so forth. And then you have on the left, basically part of your data sets, because our data sets, the countries are arranged in alphabetical order. And then on the right is what you use now for filtering. Okay, on the right, I'll go back and explain this in QGIS. And this example, right now, don't worry about a Kasabek example, but this is how it appears. So let me go up. After docking, you have this tool here. It's kind of like a funnel. And this tool will now help us to subset our data that we have. Okay. So how do you do that? You come and click on that tool, and it give you all the variables that you have in your data sets on the left. And on the right, now you have all these things that you need. So I'm going back. Let me go back to the QGIS. And then we go from there, okay? Okay. So I've docked. Please, you're still seeing my QGIS? Hello?
Yes.
Okay. So after docking, we're going to use this tool here. Okay. So if I click on this, I can bring it up now because it's docked. So on the left are all my headings or variables. On the right are now what I'm going to use for filtering. So let's start with this here. So you can exclude that field. You can use equal to, not equal to, all these things you can use them, okay? So on the left, you have your variables. On the right, you have thing that helps you, the expression that helps you, okay? So I'm going to start with very simple, very simple one. What I'm going to do, I'm going to select only a subset of in the data that has the crop called cassava only. I need only cassava, okay? I'll go here. I'll type cassava. I mean, as soon as I start typing, it will come. So I need cassava. I'm not going to do anything with all this, but right now I just need cassava. That's it. So after writing cassava here, I'll go and select the future. Okay. Click on this. So you look up here. It tells me that okay, that was first. So let me go here. So this my new data sets that has only cassava. Okay, let me go back. And also on the map, you can see that the ones that are selected, the colors have kind of changed a little bit. But how do you do that? Let me go back again and start. I'm going to get out completely. Install my QGIS. Layer. Data. What the hell is my data? Go. Okay, I've got it. I'm going to dock it. Open attribute. Dock. Okay, it's done. Go to my funnel. The crop I need is cassava. I'm going to select. It's done. So this is my this is the so to see the cassava, I come here, show the selected future is cassava. Okay, I wanted in when I come back, I'll show a combination. We'll take a break and then we'll do exercise ourselves, okay? So this is what we did. Go in the attributes table. I docked my table. So this is the docked table. I use my file by clicking I wrote cassava. I click select future. When it's done, I switch to table and server. Okay. I'm going to do combination. And then after that, we're going to take a, and then do this filtering ourselves, okay? When you want to get rid of your, and everything is gone. So my dot is gone. You can even see my maps or those selections when are gone. So I'm going to do again. This time I'm going to do combination. Again, open attribute. I have to dot. Okay. Funnel. Now I'm going to select a crop. Let's call it maybe yams. I need yams. And then now I'm going to use this yield here. I need all the yams that are greater than 2,000 kilograms. Okay. So for the crop, because on the left, this came from my data sets. All these are the headings of my data sets. So I need yam crops with all the yields that are greater than what? 2,000 kilograms. After selecting that, I've selected the future. Take some time. So you see 844 matches. So this 844 has the yams with more than 2,000 kilograms. So when I click on this, so these are the yams. You see the crop, the yams, and these are the kilograms. So anything under this is greater than 2,000. Okay. So let's take a 5 minutes. Okay. Okay. Meanwhile, I also go and answer some few questions. Let's take a 5 minutes break. And then when we come back, we're all going to close our QGIS. We're going to I'm going to okay, 5 minutes break. Somebody asked, is there a mechanism to export the table attributes? Yes, we do. Then a break. Okay, so we have that. So somebody says, repeat the instruction briefly, please. I will repeat that after break so that before we start. I think I answered this. Let's see which one here. Somebody can't hear you. Do you guys hear me? My network. Peace. Is my network not working very well? Because I think people are not hearing me. Do you hear me?
I can hear you now, but
Hello?
it was breaking
Okay.
a bit.
Sorry about
Now it's
that.
clear.
Okay. If before we do exercise, I will repeat again both. Okay. Okay, somebody said when he selects cassava, it brings maize. So to see only what you've selected, you have to select the selected variables, which I'm going to show you. Okay, can someone tell me how to go back to original docket table? I'll also show you that. Someone says, yes, please slowly. I will slow down. I lost here. Okay, let me go back and repeat again, okay? Okay, so we are going to do filtering. I'm going to start with only one, and then after that, I'm going to do two. So my data sets, the original data sets that you guys have, has I think more than 28,000 rows. And it has, I think, 6 to 7 crops with very many years. And these crops have different yields. So how QGIS help in this when you're analyzing your data? QGIS can help you filter, select, assume you work in regional areas and you have somebody collecting data and you work with only maize and you have all these data sets with maize, cassava, plantains, and you want to analyze your data in QGIS and you want only maize. So the filter function will help you select maize. What about if you want to analyze your data and you want only maize with certain yield? The filter function will help you do that. Okay? That's why we're using filter function here to subset your data, basically. We do that in Excel. We sort things in Excel to do that. And that's basically what we're doing here. We are selecting subset of our data. So how do you do that? You bring your data in, you bring this the base layer, you go to attribute table, you dock it. After docking it, you go to the filter, you go with the filter, and it has a kind of like a funnel. And then after clicking on the funnel, it will give you a window. And that windows have different parameters. On the left, it has all your variables that basically headings. Let me put like in the layman's, the headings of your data sets. On the right, you have now the parameters that you can use to make selection. So that's what we have been doing.
Steven, we're not seeing your
Yes.
screen.
Okay. Let me share here. See my screen now?
Yes.
Okay. So when I was talking, I've not done anything yet. I haven't done anything yet. So let me repeat again. So this is the platform, QGIS. So what we are doing, you have this data set that has many crops. It has average temperature, yield, and others. So assume that you're working with only maize, and they give you this data sets to analyze in QGIS, and you know QGIS. But you want to work with maize. So the filter function helps you to select only maize. And then you can also go further and select maybe only maize that has a kilogram of 2,000 kilograms. So how do you do that? You get the data that you are given in any format that QGIS can read. And we are all used to comma separated value format, CVS format, comma separated value format. So you go, load your data to QGIS. How do you do that? Use layer. That's the layer help you bring your data sets in QGIS. But when you bring your data sets in QGIS, you're going to have only points. And that points won't tell you where that points which country. But to help you to do that, to know which points belong to which country, you have to bring in a plugin. And that plugin will bring you a base map. So when you know that this dot comes from Uganda or Kenya or Nigeria, now next, you have to filter the data. So how do you do that? You just table attribute.
Stephen, are
Yes.
you sharing the screen and importing?
No, I'm not doing anything yet. I'm not doing anything.
Okay.
I'm just telling people what I'm going to do. I'm not doing anything yet. What you're seeing
Okay.
is QGIS blank. You're seeing that one?
Yes.
Please. Okay. I'm just trying to explain what I'm. Okay. So after that, you filter. So let's start with bringing the data. We go to layer, we add, and since our data is comma format, we go to add, we get the data, and this is the data. We make sure that our longitude is X, latitude is Y. We import and close. This is the dots. Doesn't tell us where they're coming from, but to do that, we're going to get this plugin. Now we want to subset our data. How do we do that? We go to right click, open table, attribute. So pay attention here. So the data we imported using layer is this data here. This is the headings, the number, the country, latitude up to average temperature. But before we filter this data, we have to dock it. How do we dock it? This here. We click on that, it goes down, but it hasn't settled yet. So you play with it a little bit, and then it will dock. When you see that white thing coming a little bit. Now we can now filter our data. We can now subset it. How do you subset? Use this funnel here, okay? If I click on this funnel is going to bring for me what I will use to select my data. Okay, look at the left. On the left are the headings of your data set. On the left. On the right are the parameters that you're going to use to help select. You can just, the default is exclude, but you can also you can either exclude, you can do equals to and everything, okay? So the first thing that we're going to do, let's say we're going to select what? Our crop cassava, that's what we did. So on the heading crops in your data sets, there are very many, I think there are 6 or 7 crops. Cassava is one of them. Maize is one of them. Yam is one of them. Sorghum is one of them. So but we need only to select what? Cassava. So I type here cassava. You see that? And with QGIS, as soon as you start typing, it will bring for you the cassava. And then how do I select this cassava? I go to this select future here. See where this one is? When I click on that, it's only going in the table and selecting cassava. You see that? It selected 2045 matches. So in that big data set, it has 2000 cassava. But now if you want to see only cassava, near there, you go here on the left, you say show selected future. You click that, and then you come on the right, you switch to what? To table. And this is cassava. So this one has, this new data set has only cassava. That's how you selected cassava. But you can also do combination. You can select cassava with the yield of maybe greater than 1,000 kilogram. Okay? So how do you do that? Let me clear this selection first. So how do you clear it? You see this one here? If you put on it, say this, select all feature from the layers. If I click on that, everything disappears. I go back to my original. So okay. Now, I'm going to select cassava with only, let me say cassava with the yield of, let's say 5,000 kilograms. That's the one, only cassava I need from that data set. So again, what I do, I go back, I right click, I go to the table, okay? I have to dock it, okay? After docking, I go to my funnel. Now, I'll go again and type the crop I want is cassava still, okay? And now I also need yield. The yield that I need should be greater than 5,000. That's why I come in here. So these are the parameters. If you check it, it will do that. So I want only yield that are greater than 5,000. You see that? My crop is cassava and the yields are this. And then I select the future. See now it's reduced onto 1,803. So if I return to here, that person asked me when I answer that question, if you select and you click on the view, we have all other what? Crops here, because you look at here, this show all the futures. This is showing us all our data set. You see, show all the futures. And our data set, if you look up here, it has 28,000 total. And then after filtering, you see the selected. So our selected, 1,803 are cassava that has the weight of more than 5,000 kilograms. So this shows everything. But now if I want to see only cassava with more than 5,000 kilograms, I come back here and I do what? Show selected future. You can see this is now the crop is cassava. The kilograms, you could look here, are all more than 5,000. Can we now do something like this? Put yes in the chat so that we give you some exercise here. Okay. So this is what I want you to do. I will read from you, then we work together. So let's get out, all of us, let's get out of ArcGIS. Credit. Okay, go and start your QGIS. Okay, I would like you, the first is filter by sorghum, number one. When you are done, go filter by rice, by yams, by plantain. When you're done with those, and now year 2000. So let's start with sorghum first. So what I will do, I will just bring my data and leave it here, and you guys can go from there. So we're going to start with sorghum. And then after rice, we're going to filter with the yams. Let's do that. I'll just bring my data and leave it here. You guys, if you have any question, let me know.
You're not sharing your screen.
Let me share here. Thank you. Can see my screen now? Is it coming?
Yes.
Thank you. So we're going to do sorghum, then rice, then yams, then plantain, those four. If you're done with four, then you can put seed. I'm going to give you at least between 5 to 6 minutes to do those. So somebody is asking, oh, that was the first exercise. Okay. Okay, for those who have finished, I'm going to now add for you the combination one. I would like you to do the country is Uganda, the crop is maize, and the year is greater than 2001. Okay, select the country is Uganda, the crop is maize, and the year is 2001. Those who have finished. So we're going to combination. So you first have to clear, you have to clear the ones that you selected. And then you can go and do this, the combination one. Countries Uganda, the crop is in the years greater than 2001. Again, for those who have done, do for the combination. Uganda is the country, maize is the crop, and the year should be greater than 2001. Uganda is the country, crop is maize, year is greater than 2001. So I'm going to give another 3 minutes, then I'll go back to PowerPoint slide and show you how do you save those selected data, because that's the main goal. You have to save it and then use it in the future. So I'm going to give you only 3 minutes, then we'll go back and see how do you save that. And then we come back, and before we do that, I will go back to the PowerPoint after 3 minutes. Okay, so I'm going to show you how you save your data. So this from so please you can see my PowerPoint. Can you?
Yes.
Yes.
So you can see my PowerPoint. Okay, so this is the cassava that we got. Now we need to save this. Okay, so you can, and then you go, you select the, you type the name of where you want, you type the name of uh, the new data sets, and then you save. So it's just one step, which I'm going to demonstrate. After demonstrating, and then we'll go, I'll give you exercise, and then you'll save, okay? Are you with me? And then this is now my folder. When I went back, this was my new what? My new cassava. I gave the name new. I'm going to get cassava. For getting cassava, I'm going to get to save that layer, okay? Okay, so let me go back to my QGIS. Okay, please, you see my QGIS?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so I'm going to go and get my cassava data. Dock it. Okay. Okay, we have it here. Okay. So this is our cassava data. So how do we save it? If you even can see from the map here, see that yellow, those are where cassava, where that's where I have crop cassava. So how do I save this? Okay. Right click. Okay. Let's see here. Export. Save selected futures. Okay. Again, right click. Export. Save selected future. If you click on that, it brings you this. Okay, I would like to spend some time here. So if you selected your data, you can save in any format. So these are the format that they have. You can save in shape, GeoPackage, any format. But we are going to still stick with our comma separated value. I wanted to explain that to you. So you can get your data, it's like what P13R. You can get your data in any format. It's the same with QGIS. The future is selected, you can change, you can save in any format. But you have to make sure that you select the folder that you're going to save your data in. So if you click on these three dots, always three dots, some of them are horizontal, some of them are vertical. If you look at in any program, it will lead you to the browser. It will lead you to a folder. So I click on that. So I'm going to put my, let me put it on a desktop, okay? And then I'm going to give the name Cassava New, okay? Cassava underscore new. And then I save. You see, it tells me layer exported successfully, and it gives you exactly where it has been saved. I'm going to go there and open that file. So if it's not exported, you'll get an error. But if it's exported, it's okay. Let me repeat again. Okay. So we have our layer that we selected cassava. And to make sure that you have your layers that you selected, look at the map. So where you see all these yellows, those are the countries that are growing cassava. Okay. So we know we have cassava, but we need that data. Okay. So how do we export the data? We go back again to our layer, the data, country yield data. Right click, we go to export, save selected future because we selected that future, the future. You click on that, then you decide what format do I need to save in. For us, we are using comma separated value, but you can save in all these formats that you can use in any geospatial data software. But before you save, oops, what's going on here? Before you save anything, you have to select your folder. If you don't, you're going to get an error. It's going to yell at you. You're going to get an error. So these three dots will help you to select where you want it to be saved. For mine, I selected a desktop and I gave it a name. You can give it any name. I gave it a name cassava underscore new. So when I type cassava underscore, right now, if you look at this save, it's not even highlighted because I haven't given the name yet. So when I type cassava underscore new, you see, the save is highlighted blue already. So let me just put new too, so that I don't confuse. So if I click on save, I click on OK, you see on top here, you have this tick here, layer exported, successfully saved vector layer to my desktop, and this is the name. So now let me go to desktop and see the data, okay? So this is it. You can see only cassava in the crop. This is only cassava, okay? Now you can use this, you can now do anything with this data. Okay, any question? I'm going to repeat it once again, and then after that, I'm going to give an exercise to export data. So this time, I'm going to do combination. Let me get out of this completely, and we start again. I'm going to do combination, okay? Okay, so go to my layer, add layer. This. This. Okay, this time I'm going to do, let me take a country in West Africa. I'm going to do Nigeria. I'm going to get data from Nigeria. Before I do that, I have to dock my my table, filter. So my country is Nigeria. Have Nigeria? I don't know. Let me see. Let me go with Niger so that I don't. If he doesn't come, maybe we don't have it. We'll go with Niger here. Then let's try the crops yams. Yam. Do we have yams here? Okay, I'm going to go with the pesticides. No, I'll still go with the yield. I'll still go with the yield. Let me let them 3,000. Okay, I'm to select. Didn't match. Okay, sometimes it doesn't match. So let's go back again. Okay, try again. Maize. Because if it's not there, it's not going to match. What about greater than 3,000? Okay, I don't think. Let's try another one. Let me clean it. I'm gonna just go back to Uganda. Okay, Uganda's here. I need plantains. Let's go to maize. Let me go maize here. Sorghum, okay. Maize. Okay, let's try that. Now we have 91 match. Okay. So if I go to here, okay, so we have, it's supposed to be sorghum. What happened? So we have 91 selected. So I'm going to right click. I'm going to export it. Save future as. I'm going to still put it desktop. I'm just going to put Uganda sorghum new. Save. And okay. Okay. So we do some exercise. We're going to export data. You're going to export data from, try if you have Zambia. Zambia with the crop is maize and the kilogram should be greater than 2,500. Go filter Zambia with a maize crop, okay? And should be greater than 2,500 and export it and name the file Zambia maize underscore new, okay? Can we do that? I'll give you 10 minutes. You have to get data, filter that data, get Zambia, get maize, and the yield should be greater than 2,500. After getting that, export that that data set to any of your folders that you know and give the name maize underscore new. Let's do it. Okay? Okay, I'll give you 10 minutes. Somebody raised their hands. Let's see here. So when you're done, type yes. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to filter Zambia with maize greater than 2,500 kilogram. To do that, you have to right click on the layer. You have to get your table attribute. You have to dock it. You have to go to the filter panel. You have to select country, Zambia, and so forth. Okay, so it seems like people are not finding it. So somebody said yes, somebody said not found. Okay, did you guys find it? If you did you find if you found, put yes. So some people are putting not much. Did you dock your table? Because if you don't dock the table, it's not going to work. Some people are finding. So for those who have found, you can export. Okay, so to bring back, somebody wants to bring back your layers, go to view. Somebody lost their layers. Go to view, go to panels, and then the panel you see layer and click on that. Somebody lost their layer. Go to view, then panels, then you should be able to see that layer and click on it, it will come back. Okay, somebody said doesn't also read only document because you did not select, I think you did not select your folder. If you get that, that means you did not select your folder. You have to select folder first. If you don't, it won't save. So somebody selected 2000, that's why you're getting 97. I think people were getting less than that, they selected 25. So someone asked, why do we use data plotting? That's going to be our next. Okay, that's for plot. Okay, I'm going to give you another 2 minutes, then we'll continue. The next is going to be plot. That's going to be our last topic for today. And also going to be our last topic for QGIS. I'm going to give you 2 minutes. Okay, so before we start our last part of QGIS, so I would like you to know that what we gave you is to let you start it. So you can build from there. So recap. So what we covered how to bring your data in QGIS, and we mainly worked with comma substituted value because most of our work is done in that. But also I would like to stress that QGIS takes very, very different formats of data. So we show that each time you bring your data set in QGIS, it becomes a layer. So that's how you can work with your data. It becomes a layer. Also, when you get your plugins, it becomes a layer. And when it's a layer, it has to be checked to be used because sometimes when you're using QGIS, you can have even 10 different layers. And if you don't want to use one of them, you uncheck them and that layer is not used. Another thing that we covered was how important the properties from the layers. So to do that, you always have to right click. And then properties has very many parameters that we could use, but we use very few. We use symbology, we use labels. So we increase the size of our labels, we change the label, we change the color. We use graduated to classify, to do histogram. And then we went further, we saved the file using project with our map. And then also we introduce table attributes that when you bring your data, you can inspect your data. And we went further using the table attribute so that you can select a subset of your data. And then after that, we save the data. So basically, that's what we covered, and it's just the beginning. You can add on from that. So the last part of when you're training software is data visualization. It's very, very important. How do you present that? So we're going to spend some time. This is our last topic for today, and also our last topic for QGIS. So I'm going to spend some time very slowly showing you how you can draw figures using QGIS. Okay. So to do that, use a plugin And that plugin is called Plotly. And that was the first thing we did when I gave you the recap of yesterday. We went and installed it. So what does it do? It allows users to create interactive plots and charts directly from their special attributes data within QGIS. So that's what that plugin does. So these are the features. It can plot bar chart, it can plot pie chart, box plot, scatter plot, histogram, line plots, and more. So it works with attribute tables and also subspecial selection. So you can select your attributes, and then you can just put it straight away to the data plotly. And so what it does, it updates diametrically when as layers are filtered or edited. What that does mean? So assume you drew your plot and you use a certain data set. But when you filter it, it can just change it on in real time. That's what that means. So if you don't have this plugin, you will not be able to plot in QGIS. So QGIS is also like ARA. When you install, there are certain plugins that's already there. It's like also ARA when you install that certain libraries that's already there. But most of them you have to install because, I mean, if you don't need them, because they take a lot of space. Okay, so this is what we're going to use for our plotting. So how do you plot? So to plot, you go to View, you go to Panels, and then you get the Data Plotly plugin. And when you open that, it gives you a window, and that window is basically the Plotly, Data Plotly, that windows, okay? And then now you can do the configuration, okay? So what I'm going to do, I will go back like what I've been doing. I will get data. I will do the process that we're doing, and then we do the plotting. So this is what I explained in the previous slide. You go to View, and then under View, you have all these parameters too. You can, and then you come to Panels. And when you come to Panels, you'll see the Data Plotly. You remember somebody, I was helping somebody who lost their layers. I told him to go to View, go to Panels, and there's a layer here. So if I think for some reason his layer was unchecked, so it disappeared. So the way you also go and get your processing tools and the rest is the way you get your what? Your data plotly to plot your plot. Okay. So after that, what do you do? So when you click on that, you still have your layers on your left, you still have your map area, but this becomes now what becomes your area. You can see on top here called data plotly. So this is what you use. And it has the plot types. I'll show you later. And it has layers. So I told you have to indicate which layer you're going to use for your plotting. So this is where it goes. Okay. And then after that, you can, if you select your layer, then it depends on the plot. So by default, it's scatter plot. Then you can select what's your X field, what's your Y field. And then this is the configuration that helps select. And this is, and then this is how you can clean your. So if you're done, you just click on clean plot canvas, it clean everything. And that this is what you click for creating plot. Okay. So basically, when you go to your view panel and you click on this data plotly, it brings you this. And this is what you use for plotting. Okay. So when you plot, box plot, contour plot, histogram, pie chart, up to volume plot. Okay. And then it's already mentioned this. If you want to clean up your data, sorry, if you are done with the plot, you can, sorry, something is not going on here. Excuse me for this. So if you're done with the plot, you can just, this so clean plot canvas will clear the plot. And after checking your configuration, you can create the plot. Okay. How do you draw histogram? So we're going to do that in real time. You go to View, Panels, click on Data Plotting, open your plotting, click on histogram, and then, of course, the X fill with this, and you create your plot. That's for histogram. You get this for yield. This is what we got. It's just okay. So if you want to update your plot, that if you have done something new, you can just change the parameters here and you update the plot. So you don't have to clean and if you want to put your labels, you click the settings. This one is settings. Then you select your labels. You can type the title. You can do all the things here. Okay. So you have this on the left. On the top is, if you click on the top, it will show you your graph. The graph in the middle is the configuration and so forth. So how do you export your graph? So after creating your graph, there's a small window on the lower side. If you click on that window, when we were doing histogram the other time, we could not access small window here. You can use to export. Okay. And then how do you export? The same thing. You select your folder, you name your image you want to import, and you save. Okay. So let me go back and repeat this again before we go for the real demonstration. So how do you use the data properly? You use that through View, Panels, and Data Plotly. As soon as you click on this, View, Panels, Data Plotly, if you have not installed plugin, it won't appear here. But sometimes it moves down. You just have to check. After clicking on that, you get this panel here. So this now is going to be a working space. Okay. This is going to be a working space now, and you can see a data plotly. And it has all these data types. I mean, all these plot types. Okay. So it depends on what you want to draw. You select from this, from the plot type. And then you have layers. So from the layer, which layer do you want to work with? And then at the bottom left, if you're done and you don't want that graph, this is how you you delete, clean it up. And then when you have selected everything, this is how you create your plot. The configuration just helps you, but this is how you create your plot. So the most important buttons are this one for creating plot, this one for removing plot when you are done. This layer helps you to select which layer you're going to work with, and this plot type helps you select which plot you're going to work with. So this is when you're starting your to draw your plot. Okay. So if you want to make this histogram, you go to View, Panels, Data Plotty. You open the panel. The plot type will be histogram, and then the field now we want to plot kilogram per hectare, and you create what? Create plot. That's it. That's the process if you want to plot histogram. So we did that. We got this. Okay. Now, how do we save this? We save this using this button on the lower right corner. If you click on that, it's going to ask you to select a folder. And for me, this is the folder I selected. And then you write the name of what you want. Mine I wrote histogram. But before you write a name, this save will not be blue. So if the save is not blue, that means something is missing. And the biggest problem that people run in is they don't select their folder. QGIS is forgiving because basically doesn't want you to save what you're working on anywhere. So it gives, after clicking save, it what? It's done. So I'm not going through this here. I'm going to show you just practically, okay? So I'm going to go back to my QGIS, okay? Okay, so because of time, I'm not going to get out of this. I'm just going to go straight here. So I would like to do some plotting here, okay? So I'm going to View, I'm going to go to Panels, I'm going to go to Data Plotting. So by default, the plot type is scatter. If I press on this, it gives all this information. I want to plot histogram. Here by default was scatter plot, but I want to select histogram. Since I have only one layer, this just pick it up. But if I had very many layers, I would go here and change. Okay. Okay. So what do I want to plot? I want to plot my yield. I select it here. Then here I change my colors. Okay, so I need, let me put red here. So marker color, stroke color, this also what will happen. It's going to be single plot, okay? So my map still there, my layer is still there, but I'm just going to, my plot, data plot is this, just taking all this here. So I create plot, click on that, it's done. Okay, so this is my what? This is my histogram for yield. So how do I save this? You see this button here? There are two buttons. This one, if I click on it, it tells me to export as STLM. We don't need that. We need this one here, export as image. Okay, I click on that, it brings for me this. So mine already selected what? The desktop. And then I just write here the name. So you see here, I can cancel, but the save is kind of very light. But as soon as I type a name here, it becomes blue. So let me call it histogram 2. Let's go to. And then also indicate here that it has, I'm going to plot box crop. So since I don't want this, I'm done. What do I do? Let's see here. So when I'm done with that, you see this clean plot covers. If I click on that, it's gone. So when I go back to plot, there's nothing. Okay. So to plot, you need to be here. Okay. And then this shows you the real plot here. Okay. So I'm going to plot. The plot is going to be the plot type. We need box plot. And then I need average. Let me see, average rainfall. Let me see if this is correct. And crop. Let's try this. Oh, I think the other way around. Try again. Let me first clean up this here. Let me go back to my slide here. So we plotted average rainfall with crops. This was that. And we plotted this scatter plot. This is best. So average rainfall with crops. But it's not coming. Nope. Let me try again to plot. No, this should be X. Average rainfall. Try to plot again. Okay. So this is our box plot. Okay. So you can plot, you can make a bar chart, you can make histogram, you can make a box plot. Okay. So I'm going to repeat again. Then after that, we are going to go and I'll give you some exercise here. Okay. Okay. Let me start again. Let me get this layer off here. Okay, what do we do when we want to plot any graph in QGIS? You bring your data the way we did it yesterday and today. You have your layer. You go to View, you go to Panels, you select the plugin. Let me clean this one up. It's gone. Okay. So this data plot, it has plot type. If you click on this, it'll give you all these plot types. It has a place for layer. It has a place for your variables, depends on the plot. It has a place where you can remove the plot. It has a place where you can create the plot. And when you've created the plot, you can save. So let me repeat this blocks plot again. Let me save that. Okay, we have that box plot. Now I'm going to save this box plot. I click on export. It's going to go to my desktop again. I just put box plot and save. Okay, so we're going to create histogram of average temperature. We're going to export that. We're going to create box plot of crop yield, of crop and yield. Let's start with creating the histogram of average temperature, and we're going to export it. I want you guys to get out of QGIS, get your data, get your data the way we did everything, and then plot. The first one is histogram of average temperature. I'm going to give you 5 minutes and then plot another one. Okay? Any question before we do that? Okay, let's start with histogram. If any question, let me know. But let's start with histogram first of average temperature. We're going to get that saved, and then after that, I'll tell you which one to plot. Okay, somebody said I should repeat the process. Okay, let me start again, okay? Okay, so I'm going to do exactly what I told you to do. I'm going to get out of QGIS completely, okay? So I'm going to, please let me know if my screen is being seen. Please, do you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, from the beginning, I'm going to bring the data in, then Okay, I'm going to get my base map. Okay, I want to plot. I'm going to start with histogram. Okay, I'm going to repeat kilogram per hectare really. I go to view, panels, my plugin. And when I go there, this is my plugin, this data plotting is what I'm going to use. And on the top, it gives you the plot type, but by default, it brings scatter plot. But we are not going to plot scatter plot. We are going to plot histogram. So what do? We go up here and select histogram, okay? And the layer selected automatically because we have only one layer. If you had several layers, you have to select the layer you're going to what? To work with. And our X field is going to be what? It's going to be yield. So you click on here, you come and get yield. I don't want these colors. Pick another color. So here, I'm just going to pick something that I like, okay? And then when I come down here, this is how I plot, create plot. I click on that. This is my histogram, okay? So I've created histogram. What do I do with it? I want this histogram to be saved. So to do that, I go here at lower corner here. There are two buttons here. One is if you want to save it as HTML, but that's not what we want. We want to save it as what? As an image. So if I click on here, it's going to bring for me, depends on where you are, it's going to bring a folder. But for me, I don't want to save this on this folder. I want to save it on my desktop. So I click, I look for where my desktop is. But look here, unless I write the name here, I won't be able to save because right now this save here is kind of like hidden. So now I'm writing, as soon as I start writing there it's come out. So I'm just writing that histogram 2. Then I save. It's going to, or these two already replaced, then I put histogram 3 here. Then I save. Okay, so now I have that. Okay, so I don't need this plot. I'm done with it. So I need to clean it up. I need to get it off. Okay, so to do that, if I click on this, I come here, clean plot canvas. If I click on that, it's gone. So now when I come here, it's clean. So if I now want to create another plot, I go again here. I select the plot I want to create. So let's create a box plot. So I come here, I select box plot, and then I would like to create average rainfall. I think that's what we created. I would like to crop and our Y is average rainfall, okay? Then I press on this again, create a plot, gives me this. This is my box plot. I can now export it again. Now, since I already used my desktop, is already there. Now I can say box plot be underscore box plot 2. That's it. Okay. So let's go back to exercise. We're going to create histogram of average temperature. Okay. And then we're going to export that. You pick up a folder where you're going to export it to. So after that, we were going to plot a box plot of crop with average temperature. This box plot that you're on the screen is with the crop with average rainfall, but we're going to do a box plot of crop with average temperature. So I'll give you some time to do that. If you look at my box plot, it tells you the median Q1, Q3, and the maximum for yam and the minimum for yam. So this is also another way you can check your data. You can do just a box plot. Now we know the maximum for yam, we know the minimum for yam. And then we can try this, plantain, and so forth. So box plot can help you because if you click on it, it gives you those information really. Sweet potatoes, uh, cassava, wheat, medium. So when you're done with histogram, you're going to do box plot. And I would also, after that, like to draw a violin plot. So when you're done with histogram, you're going to do box plot, histogram of average temperature. That's one. A box plot of crop yield with average temperature. And then after a few minutes, I'll give you the third one. Make sure you save all of them. So make sure you practice the filter and the map, because our activity for this involve both the filtering and also the map. So if you don't practice here, it's going to be challenging for you. So let me know if you have drawn a violin plot, then put here. activity in the class for today. If of crop and average rainfall. If you're done with that, let's histogram average temperature box plot for crop and average temperature and Can you hear me? Hello? Can you hear me? I think I lost my internet a little bit. So, did you get the last exercise? Okay. The last exercise is you are going to load the original data we've been working with. Okay. And then you're going to select YAMS as a filter. You're going to save YAM as a filter. After that, you're going to give the name YAMS new name. And then after that, you're going to load the YAMS. After loading the YAMS, you're going to plot histogram for the yield. So this is the process. You're going to use layer. After using layer, you're going to load your data. You're going to get base map. You're going to go to table attribute. You're going to dock that. After docking, you're going to go to filter and select YAMS. After selecting YAMS, you're going to go again to right click on your layer. You're going to export as selected future, and you're going to name it YAMS new data. And then you'll go back to layer again. You're going to add. You're going to do the. You're going to use the comma separated value. You're going to load that YAM new data, and then you use that layer now. When that layer is when the YAM that layer is in your layer, you're going to go to View, Panel. After panels, you're going to go to the data plotting. The data plotting, you're going to pick histogram. The histogram, you're going to select kilogram, the yield. And then you're going to draw the histogram. And then when you're done with the histogram, you'll go to the lower right-hand corner. You're going to export that image. And that's the exercise for today. And also that's what's similar to your activity that you Peace will soon put on the what? On the chat. Is that okay? Are you with me? Okay. So let's do this together. Okay? Let's do this together. You're still hearing me, don't you? You guys still hearing me? Peace, do you hear me? Hello? Okay, so this is what we're going to do. So I would like you to go to layer, follow me, work with me together, okay? We're going to add layer. Let's see. Okay, you guys follow me. Okay, so we are going to open table. We're going to doc. Okay. We're going to select yams. The crop is yams, okay? Select the future. Okay. So next, we're going to export this. Export. We're going to save future as. I'm still going to put it on my desktop, okay? So this is going to be our yam new. Okay. So that was the first part. Now the second part, we're going to call that yam new as as our new layer. Okay. So we're going to go to layer, add layer. So I'm going to go to desktop. This is my yam new. Oops. Okay. So this is now my new layer. It's called yam new. Okay. That's what I'm going to work with. So what I'm going to do is I need histogram from the yield from yam new. So I can also get rid of this, but I want it to be there. So I'm going to go right click. No, I'm going to go to view because we want to plot histogram. View, panels, plotting. Okay. So you see here, our plot type by default is what? Scatter plot. But we don't need scatter plot. We need what? Histogram. We selected that. Our layer by default is this, but we don't need this layer. We are going to what? To yam. Are you with me? So now we want to plot what? The yield, okay? And we are going to just maybe get new colors. It's okay. Because, oops. I did something here. Let me go back. Pounds. Okay, so I'm going to create the plot. So this is my histogram for yams. Okay. So let me put a title here. Yams. Okay. So now I can export this. So that's what I wanted us to do. And something similar that you're going to do for activity. Okay. It's now 4:59. So thank you very much. And thank you for attending QJS. I can give you back to David.
Yes, thank you very much, Dr. Stephen Opio, and this again for another fruitful day of scaling. I think everyone, I believe, is trying to follow and is enjoying the training so far. So we shall be coming for our last session for this segment tomorrow. So we shall finish tomorrow and then wait for the additional trainings that are coming soon. So let me wish everyone a happy afternoon or evening, depending where you are. Please let's continue to practice so that we can garner the skills and utilize it for our research. So thanks a lot. Thank you, Stephen. Thank you for the team from Patera for this collaboration. We are pleased to have you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good night.